So you can see this particular diagram. So it is a traveling wave tube, which we have discussed in the previous class, where it has a cathode and with an electron gun, and it is the total tube length. And here we have a collector which is been not participating in the bunches. It will be collected over here, and this electron beam is being provided to move towards the tube, along the tube. And here you can see that there are two extensions at this particular point and at this particular point. And from this, in a helix structure, it is being supported. And where this is nothing but the helix structure, as it is been shown, it is been acting as slow wave structure, and where the electron beam is made to move within this electrical helical structure. So this will avoid deviation of causing any deviation to this electron beam. Okay, so to avoid that dispersion of the electron beam, this slow wave structure is being used. And the main purpose of using this slow wave structure is where the RF input is being continuously interacted with the electron beam throughout this particular period and throughout this particular distance. Okay, so please catch up what I mean to say, where the interaction gap, our motto is to increase the interaction gap so that the interaction time and interaction gap both are increased over here. So this is the RF input which is to be amplified, is being given as enough input, and this is being given as enough input as it is been passing through this. And it is being found that at the initial stages some oscillations are developed. Okay, due to that, to suppress those oscillations which is causing disturbance to amplification process will be suppressed by the attenuator. Okay, and due to this, and magnetic field will be provided over here, which also responsible to avoid the dispersion of electron beam. So magnetic field also will be produced over here along with the RF input, the axial electric field, as it has been previously developed due to the RF input, an axial electric field will develop. And because of this oscillations and the slow wave structure at this particular instant, some magnetic field is being developed over here, that is also responsible to suppress the oscillations which is being created. No, to avoid the dispersion of electron beam, this magnetic field will play a vital role. And in this case, we can observe that the axial electric field and magnetic field both will be linear. So both will be linear to each other. In other two also, in previous two, in case of two cavity and klystron amplifier, and in case of two cavity klystron amplifier, and also in case of klystron amplifier, it is been found that both electric field and magnetic field will be linear to each other, so that these are named to be linear beam type of tubes. Linear beam type of tubes. Okay, and it is also called as O-type tubes. So this is how, where it has been found that as long as the electric field and magnetic field will be linear to each other, they are termed to be linear beam type of tubes. And this is the total construction we have. Now coming to the operation, what we have seen, when electron beam is being propagating through this particular tube, in turn they made to travel through this slow wave structure. What happened? It avoids the dispersion of that electron beam, where whenever RF input is being given, this RF input is interacted with the electron beam at particular first turn, and due to this RF input moving through the turn over here, it decreases its velocity. Is a part of the signal will be retarded, as the velocity of that wave will be decreased over here. Due to that, some retardation will be taking place. Retarded RF field will be produced over here. So due to that retardation, this retarded RF field will be interacted with the electron beam. They form a bunch. So initially small bunches are formed at the first turn. When they move to the second turn, then once again the retarded RF field of the second turn will interact with the bunches which are formed from the first turn, so that the bunches size will be increased here, and they move to the third turn. Once again the retarded RF field will be interacted with the bunches which are obtained from the second turn, so that the bunches size will be gradually it increases. So as it moves from one turn to other turn, the size of the bunches will be gradually increased. Thereby the amplification is also gradually increased over here, and that is being taken through the RF output. And that's how we can see that the output waveform which is being done, it is being slowly increasing its amplitude as the bunches size is being gradually increasing. So this is being said to be exponential increase in the waveform. So amplification. So that's what we have discussed in the previous class. Now we are moving to the second half part. That is nothing but second type of tubes. There are two types, as I've told. The classification are being made by two types of tubes. That is now O type tube and M type of tubes. And this is the M type of tubes. This is also called as crossed field type of tubes. Crossed field type of tubes. Okay. And why it is being called as crossed field type of tubes? It's because the whatever the DC electric field which is being provided and the DC magnetic field which is being provided, both the fields will cross each other. Both the fields will cross each other. Okay, so they cross each other. Okay, so that this such type of tubes, the crossing of electric field and magnetic field will be taking place in M type of tubes. Okay, so that they are named as crossed field type of tubes. Okay, and that is the second category which we are about to discuss. It is the fourth unit, second part. Okay, so fourth unit, second part, where the main important point which we are going to discuss is nothing but the magnetron. So magnetron is only one topic we have, some little more discussion we have. So this magnetron is M type tube, which has electric field and magnetic field produced in it will be crossing each other, so that it is named as crossed field type of tube. Okay, and you have the magnetron is the very good working device at microwave frequencies under the category of crossed field type of tubes. Okay, now we'll move to a little bit more details. Normally this crossed field type of tubes has been done in three different classifications. One is negative resistance type. The first category is negative resistance type crossed field device. Second one, cyclotron frequency type is the second one. And third one, we have traveling wave or cavity type. Traveling wave or cavity type. So these are the three types we have. Generally, it already shows that it is being operating on based upon the negative resistance property, and it is being used at lower frequencies, that is about less than 500 megahertz. It is being preferred where the frequency has been less than 500 megahertz. And coming to the cyclotron, it provides the synchronization between the alternate components like electric field and some oscillations which is being generated. It provides the synchronism between the electric field and oscillations which are being provided within the tube, and it will be operated for the frequencies above 100 megahertz. Okay, so it will be operated above 100 megahertz. We prefer the cyclotron frequency type. And but whereas now, which is used at gigahertz, that is microwave frequencies. At microwave frequencies, so such type of traveling wave or cavity type of tubes are preferred, and that is being worked at microwave frequency. That is in terms of gigahertz. We can make use of this particular crossed field type tube, and that is nothing but the magnetron. So that's what I have told, that we are, this is in the syllabus. We have the third type of tube. It is being called as traveling wave or cavity type of tube. The best device or best type of tube which is being called as, which makes use of traveling wave or the cavities, is being nothing but the magnetron. Okay, so magnetron is a tube, M-type tube, which provides electric field and magnetic field which crosses each other, and it travels, the wave will be traveled in it, and it also makes use of cavity. Okay, hence it is being called as traveling wave or cavity type of tube. Okay, now let us move in detail regarding the M type of tubes. It has been very interesting. If you could able to listen to it properly, then easily you can analyze this and you can understand this topic. Okay, such an easy topic it has. You can write it on your own. So that's what I insist you to please listen the class properly, and just don't log in and move out, and so that the topic will be very clear. I'll make it very clear for you, so that there will not be any confusion. Still, if you have any doubt, you are always welcome to ask the doubt, so that I'm ready to clarify it. And now let us move to the topic, as it is being called as cavity type, and here we are making use of 8 cavities. So it is being called as 8 cavity traveling wave magnetron. 8 cavity traveling wave magnetron. So this is the topic which we are about to discuss now. For that, we'll see what is this 8 cavity and why it is being called as traveling wave. We'll justify each and every point with this title. Okay. And first, initially, we'll move on to the construction. And I have told you that magnetron is a crossed field type of tube where the electric field and magnetic field will be crossing each other. Okay, I'll be explaining how it crosses each other. But whereas the first 3 tubes which we have discussed, that is 2 cavity klystron amplifier and klystron amplifier and traveling wave tube, which are coming under the category of linear beam type of tubes, where electric field and magnetic field will be varying linearly. So that those are categorized as linear beam type of tubes. Now, getting into the details regarding the construction, we'll see the construction first, how it is being constructed. And later on, we'll proceed our discussion to the working functionality. It's been very easy, and please do concentrate and understand the things and what are all involved in it. Where is the cathode, where is the anode, and how many cavities, why it is being named as cavity over there. Each and everything I'll be giving the clear explanation. First, initially, it has a cylindrical, coaxial cylindrical structure at the center. So I'm taking this as a coaxial electrical, coaxial. This is nothing but a coaxial cylindrical structure which is being acting as a cathode. This will be acting as a cathode. Okay. So see here, see the construction, please do concentrate. This is the coaxial cylindrical structure. It will be acting as the cathode and which provides which is been providing very high microwave power. This magnetron provides very high microwave power, and it makes use of magnetic field for producing oscillations at microwave frequencies. Now, this is being considering a cylindrical, coaxial cylindrical structure will be acting as a cathode. Now, it also has a anode. So anode, I'm just drawing with a pencil. Later on, a small modification is being required, so that I am drawing with a pencil. So this is the anode. It is being termed as the anode. You might be seeing this particular structure, and this penciled structure, it will be called as anode. So this is anode structure. Okay, so this is being called as an anode, and this is the cathode, and I'll be writing the names of it later on. And where there is a cathode, as the electrons will generate or starts its journey from cathode and tries to move towards the anode. So this is the anode we have, and as it is being called as an of 8 cavity, it is being called as 8 cavity. So that the cavities, you know that there are 2 cavities: anode cavity, buncher cavity, catcher cavity. You have seen in case of previous type of tubes. Now I'm going to take the cavities here. So there will be 8 cavities. Why it is being taken as 8? I'll be justifying it. So I'm taking 8 cavities here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one, 6th. We have 7, and it's 8 here. Okay. So the cavities has been taken like this. This is the cavities which is being drawn, acting as the anode cavities. And here we'll be taking the output. The output can be taken from any of the cavity, so that the RF input or the RF output, it is been of the output is being taken from this particular cavity. It is being taken over here, and this is the another cavity. So totally, you can see that there are 8 cavities. Why it is being taken as 8? I'll be giving the clear explanation regarding this. Now you can observe that this is the way to draw the anode and cathode of a magnetron. Okay, now it is the complete anode I'm drawing over here. See, this is a structure of magnetron. Okay, where I have taken the different, I'll be writing the names of it. Now it can be clearly written as, so this is the cathode. Straight away, this is the cathode we have. Okay, and these are nothing but cavities, anode cavities we can say. So these are cavities we have, and this is being anode, as I have written that this is being anode over here. Okay, and this is where the electron will start its journey from the cathode, and they try to move towards the anode. So all this particular space, it is being considered to be interaction gap. It is interaction space or gap. Okay, so this is the construction of 8 cavity. You can measure, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 cavities. So that it is being named as 8 cavity traveling wave magnetron. Why it is called as a traveling wave? In the sense, because always the electrons, it tries to move from the cathode to anode, keep on traveling it. Okay, and so that it is being named as traveling wave. Okay, and why there are 8? Okay, I will be giving the explanation regarding this. You can observe over here, this is entire the constructional part, the constructional figure of the magnetron. Now, where this particular cathode, the magnetic field will be provided at the cathode It's because a permanent magnet, it is being placed over here. A permanent magnet is being placed around at the cathode, and so that the magnetic field will be axial to the cathode. Okay, so that shows that it is being parallel to the coaxial cylindrical structure of cathode. Whatever the cathode cylindrical structure, it has been like this. Okay, so it has been pointing out like this now, where this is the magnetron, you can see. So this particular magnetron has been cylindrical structure. The magnetic field will be of like this. Okay, so magnetic field will be of, it is been the magnet, the permanent magnet is being placed over here, so that the magnetic field will be axial like this. Okay, so this magnetic field will be parallel to this coaxial structure of the cathode. And now, as the electric field will be radial, so electric field will be radial, as it is been, we can say that as it moves, it will be keep on moving like this. Within the interaction gap, the electric field between the anode and cathode will be radial. Okay, and the magnetic field will be like this. So electric field will be of like this, and the magnetic field will be of like this. Okay, so in the straight line. So these two are crossing each other, as electric field will be of moving like this. So, and the magnetic field, just now as I have said that the magnetic field will be of like this, and electric field will be of like this. It's been rotating, keep on rotating here. Okay, and those are crossing each other. So magnetic field and electric field will be crossing each other, so that it is being called as crossed field type of tubes. Okay, this is being called as crossed field type of tubes. So this is the entire construction we have. Now we'll move on to the working functionality. So listen within the same concentration, how it is being used and what happens over here, the working functionality. So before that, let me justify why it is being called as 8 cavity traveling wave magnetron. So for that, the main, it is being, there is some conditions it has to be worked out, that is self-consistent. Always the magnetron should satisfy the self-consistent property or self-consisting mode. Self-consisting mode. Okay, so what is self-consistent? We know that totally it is been 360 degrees. Now each and every cavity, can any one of you tell me that what should be the phase difference between each and every cavity, so that it justify total 360 degrees? It should accept total, it should fulfill total, all the cavities should fulfill 360 phase difference, phase shift, by having a phase shift between the two cavities. What should be the phase shift between the two cavities, so that it justifies total 360 degrees? Can any one of you tell me? What should be the phase shift between the cavities, so that it can cover entire 360 degrees? All the cavities will be covering 360 degrees with equal distance. Definitely you could able to tell, and it's been very easy. Yes, I have got the answer. Say still others. I want the answer from others also. Fine. If you are listening to this, means I'm very happy to that. And other case, I am also feeling happy that 34 was the strength in the last class. Now it has been 41 or 40 or 41. Then it has been brought down to 40, because there are some whatever it might be of their convenience to attend the class, or the way of the microwave, it might be engineering, the microwave engineering may be interest to 1 or 2, as I hope, so that there might be increase in the class strength. Okay, as per my knowledge, then whatever be the cases, so I have got enough answer that it has been correct answer. So you can see that some of you have given the correct answers, where the phase shift between the cavities should be of 45 degrees only. So once the phase shift is been between them as 45 degrees, now it can be called as totally pi by 4. Okay, so pi by 4. So in order to make totally to justify 360 degrees, that is nothing but 2 pi, then this pi by 4. So this pi by 4, how many? There are 8 cavities. 8 into a pi by 4. They have a phase shift between them as pi by 4. So that it has been 4 1 ja, 4 2 ja, it will be 2 pi. So that is been 2 pi. It is nothing but 360 degrees. Okay. So in order to fulfill this particular condition, the phase shift between the cavities must be equal to 45. So that is nothing but pi by 4 to be maintained. Then we can say that it is satisfying self-consistent. Then it is called as self-consistent. So this is how we have to, this is the resonant frequencies. All should have resonant frequencies. So we can say that they are said to be resonant when they fulfill the condition of self-consistent. Okay, so that's what they have to justify. So that I have taken as 8 cavities, hence the name is being given as 8 cavity traveling wave magnetron. So let me take another example. Suppose if I take instead of 45, if I take the phase difference between the two cavities as 30 degrees. Okay, phase difference if I take a 30 degrees, that is nothing but pi by 6 if I would take. Okay, then what happens? So how many cavities I have taken? 8. 8 into 30 degrees will be equal to 240 degrees. But totally it has to satisfy 360, but it has a shortage. 360 degrees minus how much it has? 240 degrees. Then the resultant we get of 120 degrees here. So this value shows that the first cavity itself has a phase difference of 120 degrees. It has been phase shifted by itself by 120 degrees. Okay, so that is the meaning of having 120 degrees phase shift. Whenever we take the phase difference between the cavities as 30 degrees, if we take, then the phase shift of the cavities should be, it is being out of phase by itself with a 120 degrees. Okay, okay, and that is being is the reason here. Then we can say that it is been not justified. Then such type of arrangement is being called as non-self-consistent. It is been not satisfying this the condition here, so that it is being called as non-self-consistent. And the magnetron will not work for non-self-consistent arrangement of the cavities. So this is the reason why we are stressing to maintain a self-consistent one. And for that, we have an expression in which mode the magnetron is being operating, where let us consider that phi v is the relative phase change. Let us consider a phi v is equal to relative phase change of the magnetron. Then we have a expression as where it is being given as 2 pi n by n. Okay, so where it can take the values of n can take as n is equal to 0. It may take plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, and it can also be taken as plus or minus n by 2. Okay, so it should be of even number. Whenever we substitute n is equal to n by 2, which is an of even number, then we get phi v will be equal to 2 pi by n into here in place of n, I am substituting n by 2 here. Then this 2 will be cancelled out, and this n and this n will be cancelled out. In such case, we can say that the magnetron is being operating is in pi mode. So this is the pi mode of operation. This has been said to be pi mode of operation. Now there is one more category where it can take the n equal to 0. The first one, if you substitute for n equal to 0, if it is being substituted, then phi average will be equal to 0 here, obviously. then it is being said as it is being operating in zero mode. Or it can be said that the magnetron is being operating in zero mode. Normally, this is been not preferred. Okay, so we'll be trying this in a pi mode. Okay, so pi mode of operation is been standard mode where we can operate this. Okay, so now let us move back to the working functionality of the magnetron with 8 cavity. Let me approximate what happens to that particular magnetron. Okay, so coming back over here, we can approximate that. And there is one more diagram to know the operational functionality. Okay, so for that, the meeting is going to end within just 2 to 3 minutes only. Please join back so that I will be giving the clarity of operating this particular magnetron. Okay, so where the electron starts its journey from the cathode and moves towards the anode. During the movement of this electrons from cathode to anode, it might be of any case. So where the cathode will be generating this electron and they try to move towards the anode. Okay, now there is two fields which are acting on it. When magnetic field will be axial to it and electric field will be radial to it. So both are crossing each other and those two are acting on the electron beam. Okay, so these electrons on which the electric field and magnetic field will be operating. So I'll be giving clear operation. What happens when electric field and magnetic field will be operating on electrons which is been moving from cathode to anode, how they react. Okay, so that is the total working functionality, okay, of the magnetron. So let me proceed to the working functionality. We'll see it clearly what happens initially, how it starts, and how can we approximate, and what are the different types of electrons that is been possible by influencing this electric field and magnetic field upon the electron path. Okay, so for that we have a separate diagram which use the operational functionality of the magnetron. Okay, let me try with that the working functionality. So the meeting is been going to wind up in 1 minute, so that after rejoining, I'll start the explanation so that there will not be any gap or the disturbance. Okay, it's been just 5 to 10 minutes it takes, so that much easy the explanation over here. Okay, so please all of you join back as it is being